What's up, guys? So today I'm here to talk about the Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception, and it's just about time because we are about to get the new chapter next month, and I thought it was the best idea to give all three reviews to all the guys. So it's hard to talk about this game without mentioning the other ones, so you might understand that's how we're going to play it out. So let's start where we left off. Uncharted 2 finished with Drake and Elena together, and now we're introduced to almost every character that we need to know so far, and including Chloe in this. So now we start the game with a different approach. We have the thing in the bar, yeah, the fight and everything, but that's not really the beginning. That's just to introduce more people. The real beginning is when you go 20 years past, and you understand how both Sully and Drake introduced each other. I think this is a really important thing because we never really related to the characters as much as we do in this part, at least in my case. So the understanding of that relationship, how it started, the reasons, and where the people involved and everything. So that was a huge thing for me to understand, and as a fan, it was important to understand how they knew each other. So that's the beginning of story/characters involvement, and it's a good start for that part. So this story gives us a new scenario. Now we're in the desert. Not all part of the game, of course, because the ship part is really good. And just one thing, that ship part, I think that's really impressive, and I'm really glad that it was in it. But it doesn't evolve the story by itself. You know, it just feels like it's, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour, I don't know how much time it took, but it doesn't evolve the story by itself. It just gives you a new scenario, and it's a good thing to give you that because it gives a new land of perspective, but it doesn't change the story in any way possible, because when you start, it's almost the same thing when you finish, just shows that you just are alive. But it's a good thing that they added. Could be a little more with that, but it's a good thing. But the main story is about Atlantis of the Sand, or Ubar, or Iram, or anything. It's a city made of gold, I believe. It's of immense wealth, yeah, deep in the Rubal-Khali desert, and that's a great idea because you know all the Uncharted games are all changing the scenario, and I think that desert was something I was not really hoping for, but it results really well. And actually, the point that we are lost in the desert is one of the smartest thing I've ever played in an Uncharted game, so kudos for that. But the story by itself, so it's pretty straightforward. You know, you have a villain, different kind of villain actually, but the fact that you have to understand your past to know the importance of retrieving the decodifier or something, and that thing is you know, it allows you to progress in the main stories, and then you are competing with someone that, you know, just like previous game, you know, wants to find something as you, but with a bad idea in mind. So it's really interesting. But the characters are really involved with the scenario. For instance, Cutter, yeah, I think it was a great addition because, you know, you understood there was something weird just from the start, but you know, I don't know, after 10 minutes you know he is on your side. You never completely know it, but there's a part, I think in the middle, it's in France, no sorry, it's in Syria, and it's a really interesting thing that you really know Cutter is playing, let's say the right side. So it's a good thing. The changing of scenarios promotes a better story, and was one thing that was lacking in the first one. Is just in an island. This one you go to France, and the castle in France does evolve the story. First time I played a few years back, I thought it wasn't, you know, that changing, but it really is. When you meet the spiders, when you understand more about the villains, and especially understand more about the main goal. So France was a really interesting part, and I'm really glad that they added up. And I don't think there was a lot more to be done there. Everything is properly defined. So now then you jump to Syria, and Syria is possibly, before meeting the desert, was the best part, because you evolve, because you meet again with two of your friends, Chloe and Cutter. We are four together, and you four are trying to deal with the destruction of the city, trying to find its secret, and you know, it's when you deal about with the darts. They try to mind control Cutter, and it's actually when Cutter 2 proves its importance. So the difference of scenario is relevant in this case, and promotes a better gameplay, to be honest. The main events will be in the next act. I think it's the next one. After Syria, you get passports, exactly, and you go to the Yemen. Yeah, right. So it's when you see Elena for the first time in this game. Well, you thought in the beginning they were together. Turns out they weren't. So the moment that Drake and Elena got together, it was really interesting because it wasn't intense, it wasn't romantic. It was what it's supposed to be, what would be in real life most likely. So I like that approach. I like that they don't try to romanticize everything. So yeah, even the small details, you know, they can't hug her. You know, they have to be careful in some moments. And the scenario where you just walk in the old city is interesting because you know, you're from a different country and it's difficult to go to Yemen. You know, and see that in a video game is always an opportunity I try to grab, and it's something that if a man's interested, you know. So yeah, after that part, everything evolves and everything. So then you're caught there. Yeah. So then you've got the ship, the part that I already talked about. After the ship, it's where for me the game starts to shine brighter than everything. It's the airplane scene. The airplane scene is absolutely fantastic. Not just when you get in, it's also when you're up there and the falls. It's probably, you know, after the train thing sequence in Uncharted 2. For me, this is the best part. The plane starts to falling down, and you have to survive. And the way you survive, you know, it's of course it's in video game. In real life, it will be difficult, but it's also plausible. So you know, you can deal with that. In fact, you grab to a box and then the parachute and you try to survive. Then you'll understand that you just survived the crash. They don't survive the fact that you are in the desert. So it's a really interesting scene. The best for me for the game is that part. Yeah. So everything evolves from there. Then you go to an old village. But you know, between that part, you are lost in the desert. And I said before, and I will say again, the part where you're lost in the desert is smart. So the game evolves. You reach the end. Near the end, of course, you go actually to the city, which I was hoping for to happen. You meet the city, and see the city is really beautiful, really well done. You know, creative art there. It's fantastic. You know, the story plays out, you know, easily. Yeah, I was expecting a little more. I was expecting something more, you know, different. Yeah, I would say it's. But now I just, you know, I understand why the ending is like this. You know, but it's really easy to do an ending like this. I was expecting something more evolved. But you know, I can't be upset, and especially, you know, now I know there's going to be a fourth one. I know they said previously it would just be 3 of them. So I thought this is the real end. You know, not buying it. So the 4th one might be a surprise or not. We'll never know. So, but you know, the story overall, it's not as good as the 2nd one, but is far from just being okay. It's really good. It's better than the 1st one, and the thing that's properly intertwined between the story is the characters. So the characters are really well in this story. I think it's even better than the 2nd one. I think it's the best ever done by them. So this is what we want. Characters, Cutter, Chloe, Elena too, you know, just half of the story, but really well. And always my favorite, Sully. Sully's perfect in this game, and always will be, honestly. So congrats on the part of the story. If you consider other aspects, for me, just not as important would be the design, you know, the graphics by itself. So really good, really well done. More believable this time. France looks beautiful. Syria, best part, you know, in terms of looking, possibly Syria or Yemen. Both of them are absolutely gorgeous. The desert looks real. Honestly, I was thinking it was a real shot sometimes. So the way it looks, it's even better on PS4. Honestly, you have 60 FPS. If I'm not wrong. That's not graphics, I know, but it's fantastic. The overall IG experience in terms of graphic is perfect. Honestly, back then, of course. Still, as you know, I prefer the 2nd one, even in terms of scenarios for me were better, but this one, you know, keeps up the quality. So good job there. In terms of controls, you know, you don't have to change something that's not broken, so that's a plus. So the fact that it was everything working out in the 2nd one, I think it's, you know, worth investing. But there's one thing I have to say is that with a throwback grenade, it's one of the best ideas someone had, because honestly, someone in the office might be said, well, you know, how can we promote this? And you know, you could just throw back the grenades back. You're like, shit, yeah, why didn't do that before? And I was expecting in this new version for the PS4, I was expecting them to add it up, that aspect of controls and the gameplay to the first and second one. They didn't, and you kind of miss it, because even if you play the second one, I love the second one, I just sometimes want to throw back grenade. Oh, really? Right, yeah, right, sorry. So it's interesting, and great idea. Not the only thing, you have other aspects like picking something that's on the table or something and beat someone up with it, or you know, jumping over someone that's using a, I don't know, say a shield. I don't know what to say. You know, those are interesting aspects, yeah, but you know, for me are not that good. Changing, you know, the game changing it could be. Well, also the part that you ride a horse in the desert is interesting, but it's just momentarily, you know, it's just one chapter if I'm not wrong. So it's the caravan chapter, yeah. So it's not game changing also, because it's not applying to all the games. So the throwback grenades would do that up, but overall the controls for me are really good. You know, some people don't like third-person shooters. I really like them, so I think it justifies. And adding guns gives more perspective, even multiplayer in case of PS3 and single player. I think that the third-person shooter keeps on being really good. So props to that. The sound is the best of them all. Is in this one. Of course, the main theme is always the main theme, and it works out. So why change it? Yeah, so awesome. But the effects of the weapons, I'm pretty sure that the sounds are quite different now from each weapon, so it's more variety in that aspect. Dialogue is absolutely perfect. I don't know words to describe this. You know, as you want to be, it's, you know, close to a film as you would like to be. So the sound works properly. All the game works properly. I prefer the second one. You know, maybe just be a fandom thing. You know, I enjoyed a lot the second one, but the third one should obviously not be missed. And if just, you know, if you never play them on PS4, you surely not miss this game. You know, it's constantly on sale, so you can pick it up like, I don't know, $30, 30 euros, I don't know, or 30 pounds, but no, possibly even less than 30 pounds, of course. You know, overall you can get this game quite cheaply and beat 3 games in a week, probably, yeah, but you know, it's completely worth it, because it's experience and it's always getting better. The third one doesn't disappoint. I highly recommend you to play it, of course. And you know, if you were expecting for a fourth one, as I am, you obviously possibly, you know, already passed them through again. You know, beat the games all up, and it's worth your time, because it's intriguing stories. You know, great design. The gameplay is nearly perfect. This sound, you know, it's spot on. Everything works out, and I think you like. So now I have to say sorry for taking long to upload a new video. I've been uploading some gameplay, I've been playing out. Feel free to check out my other videos. Please subscribe or like this video if you like it. I'm trying to get the support. I'm doing it for fun, of course. I have my job and everything, so it's fun to have this hobby. But you know, if you like it, it's always a great incentive for me. So thanks guys, and please subscribe. Bye.